Welcome to the MBD podcast, the show where we dig into what's actually working or not when it comes to scaling businesses with the people who've been there. Today's guest has definitely been there. So why don't you go ahead, tell them about where you've been and what you're up to.
Hey there. My name's Tyler Stambaugh. Actually started my career in finance and did a stint in management consulting. So I was really into numbers and quant. 3 years ago, launched a startup though, and we are in marketing. In particular, our solution helps businesses nurture their customer base. So really flipped my entire career on its head. I always kind of had my roots in community doing some stuff like being a Twitch streamer and whatnot. So maybe we'll talk about that and how that comes into play. But largely really got into the nuts and bolts on emotional connection, what makes people buy, and then how do we bring the best out of them with our solution. And so our product's called Magnetic, and is an all-in-one platform for you to be able to nurture your customers post-purchase and turn them into evangelists of your brand. So
Nice. Yeah. And I used to work in finance, and I would say connecting with people and being able to sell for finance is a big thing, and a big part of it, right? Build your book of
totally.
business.
And I was talking to someone today and I was just like, yeah, you really start to learn once you start doing selling and marketing that people don't buy on logic, like they buy on emotions. And it's not this,
Mm-hmm.
like, it is a mix of logic and emotion, but it's more like a dependency tree. Like you have to lock in with your emotion that you're going to do it. And then you go and you look at all the facts to back it up to make sure that you should follow through on it.
Right.
And everyone has some sort of emotion in a purchase. It's some people are just very good at being like the least amount of emotional about it, but there's always
Right.
something
Yeah.
there. There's always something.
And then you have post-purchase regret.
Totally. But salespeople are just like, yeah, you guys go deal with that. I'm on to the
Yeah.
next
Service will
one.
take over from here.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, customer success. You can do that.
Awesome. So when you first start working with the business, what do you guys identify to help them overcome failure and start learning to scale?
Yeah, yeah. So one of the biggest things that we find is we work with brands that get to this point where they've got awareness, they've got like a product market fit more or less, like in the CPG space, for example. And now they're kind of running this like ads treadmill game, which has gotten harder and harder to play and more saturated. And so what we really try to get to is we're like, okay, we actually want to help you get more value out of the customers that you've already gotten. Like we want you to stop playing catch and release and then retargeting them to get them back into buy. We want you to actually sit down and think about what is it about my brand, my story, my product that actually resonates with people, and then lean into that. Give them experiences, give them a connection with you so that they're more likely to buy on that emotion, right? Because they have more of an emotional connection to you. And you can do that in a variety of different ways. But the first thing we really sit down is we like to strategize, and we kind of like to peel out, like, what is it that you feel like is not working right now? Or what is it that you feel like is working, but you can't get it to get to that next level? And then we start to tease out different ways that you can actually apply some of the things that we do around nurturing your existing customers outside of really just like traditional email, to really bring outcomes forward and really start to transform the relationship that you have with those customers who are buying your product.
And what are some of those techniques that you use outside of email to really help them engage with their customer, maintain awareness and trust?
So it's really interesting. There's a lot of strategies that we employ depending on the business model that people used to actually like put on their website, for example. But websites have become pretty not relevant anymore because social
Yeah.
media has really taken up a lot of the oxygen in the room. But I'll give you a great example. Like we work with beverage companies. And when we work with beverage companies, one of the most popular things that we are able to do is we're like, okay, you have a tea, for example, or a coffee. It's like, let's give people different ideas on how we can use your product in different ways. So it's not just connected to the, the ritual every morning, but like, are there recipes you can use that coffee with? Is there a way that you can prepare that coffee that changes the flavor and the profile, right? So a lot of this sounds like education, but really what we're doing is we're saying, I'm giving you some sort of value in an interest stripe that my product hits, right? If you are buying premium coffee, you probably love the ritual. You think about it all that you think about it on a regular basis. And so what you're doing is you're just leaning into that interest stripe, not necessarily a product, right? But your interest stripe, you're giving them value in that way. And we use a lot of our tools around content and promotion and everything else that you can do. So you can package these experiences in a nice tight way. And then from there, like maybe at the end of that rainbow, there's like some suggestions on what products would work best with the way I just taught you how to do it. And so now you've got someone coming with intent, you've given them something valuable. And so now you're looking to do conversion from there. So not only have you gotten them to buy the coffee, but it's not just this regular commodity thing. They're going to go and they're going to make their coffee in like a French press way or something like that. And in the back of their mind, or maybe in the front of their mind, they're going to think about the brand that taught them how to do it. Right. And so you're building that affinity and that frontal lobe remembrance of all of that. And that's the way we approach this. And it of course depends on the type of product, the type of audience and whatnot, but you always want to get to the core of like, what are the things that interest my audience, right? That are buying from me. You just want to lean so hard in.
Yeah. It's interesting because even on the pre-purchase, I think those are good ideas to start engaging
Mm-hmm.
with people, because if you're able to educate them and give them ideas, they're more likely that when the time does come that they're going to make a purchase, they're going to reach out to you. Because I think people forget about being top of mind through the
Mm-hmm.
sales cycle. And I see that in general when it comes to especially ads. They're like, well, they didn't buy within 5 touch points. You're like, no, that's not how it
Right.
works. Like,
Yeah.
you need to be in front of them. Like when it's time for them to make that decision, they need to have all this information. It's somewhat educated, but also ideas of why to use your coffee with everything that you're saying.
Right.
Um, and how do you generate the content? So let's say, or first, even how do you identify profiles? Do you have a way that you go about identifying who people are, how to kind of bucket them, and then talk to them?
Yeah. So what we do is I told you we work with brands that kind of already have a product market fit. So they have
Mm-hmm.
at least an idea on the customer personas. Um, we had a company that we were speaking to, it blew my mind. They're like, oh, yeah, we have 4 customer personas. And they were like the most random things in the world. It was like moms with kids, fitness people, army veterans, and millennials. And it was because they
It's
were a
everybody.
healthy yogurt bar brand. The founder was a former military guy.
Mm,
Moms wanted healthy snacks for their kids that were tasty. Fitness people wanted something that tasted good, that fit their macros. And then millennials just like their vibe, their story, and everything
yeah.
like that. And so what we do is we take some of those existing profiles. We have a lot of composability on the platform. And we actually create individual programs where we try to target each of those, right? And we actually use it as a learning mechanism. But
Mm,
also, what you're doing is you're attracting in that part of your audience. When you have socials, right? When you have Instagram, it's a billboard, right? And you can only
mm-hmm.
put up one thing at a time. So if you have 4 different personas, you have to speak to them in different types of posts. And so what this does is attract them there, bring them into these dedicated programs that are aligned with those interest stripes, like getting back to recipes, right? Hey, here's how you can use our healthy bars for different recipes for your kids if you want to make desserts or this and that, right? Fitness people, like, let's partner with a fitness influencer and create a fitness program that's like sponsored by our bar and like, I don't know, match the flavors with each exercise or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so now not only are you seeing them, right? Because this is, and getting them to opt in and raise their hand, like these emails are the people that are like these interest stripes, basically. Then from there, you can actually learn how they're engaging with the content. So like we actually don't do the content creation, but we do like strategy and ideation. And we think of everything in terms of like customer journeys. Like what is the path that you want them to take? And then we have this sandbox where you can like plug all these different tools in, like whether it's polling or have them upload UGC or like post content that goes to them, or even put forth promotion and product. You can do that all in one area. So it's easy for the customer. They get a streamlined experience. It's not just shot at them from emails here, there, and go here and go there. And for the brand, everything's consolidated. So they have that information to be able to act on for the future.
And that's nice because being on Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, and all those different areas that different people who like different things versus having one repository to go to, where you can do just more than store, like what you're saying, is a
Mm-hmm.
huge benefit.
100%. And that's the thing that for us, we get someone in the door with something simple, but then when they start to see like all of the other pieces that are
Mm-hmm.
there, that's when the creativity really starts to fire. But just candidly, like when we first started, we were trying to throw the kitchen sink at people, and it was just too overwhelming because um, a lot of these companies for the last like 20 years, as social and digital marketing was coming up, like the nurture part was there, but it wasn't something that you really had to super focus on. And there's a lot of that shift going on right now with like AI and like just getting overwhelmed on channels, and people are kind of tuning out. So we like to start slow. We prove some ROI on the initial, and then we start to ramp.
Nice. Now you get you get the client, you built them up, you identify their interests, their lanes. They do ideology with them. They build out their content. They get their essentially marketing calendar. And then what metrics do you look at for success? Like if it was an e-commerce brand, I would probably I'd always say revenue, right? But like repeat purchases, lifetime value. Do you have anything that you look at soft and hard metrics specifically?
Yeah. So from a soft perspective, we talk about engagement on socials, but engagement on our platform, Magnetic, everything's opt-in. So we actually track at an individual user basis all of the things that they interacted with. So you can see how far they got down the journey or how they jumped around in the journey. So for instance, you could have someone that comes in and let's say it was like one of those recipe programs. Like you can see that they looked at every single one and you're dropping a new one every week and they're hitting it every single time. So you're like, okay, this person's like really interested and has high intent in this stuff. Maybe we send that over to the email marketing team and like get them an offer in front of them differently than somewhere else. Like you'll be able to take that data and actually be able to export it to like a Klaviyo or something like that, and then be able to
Nice.
leverage that information. So the engagement, and then it goes two ways. It's like at an individual level, and then you can see it at an overall program level. Like, are there certain pieces of content that there's like an engagement percentage on? What type of conversion are we getting on our surveys? How much user generated content did we get from this request? Right, like how much are people participating? Those are some of the soft metrics, so you can start to understand how you've tailored your program if you're targeting and attracting the right people. And then from a hard metric perspective, I'm really excited to say we are in the final stages of becoming an official Shopify partner. And so what we
Congratulations.
actually want to do, thank you. And so like for companies that are on Shopify, we are going to become a sales channel, which means you'll actually be able to, in your product table, flip it over and showcase your product in the same UI as the journey that they're having. So we actually make it even more streamlined. And so from an ROI standpoint, we'll then be able to prove conversion and showcase like how much you were able to sell through that storefront from people going and doing these experiences as well. And it's all native to your checkout, your shipping, everything like that. We just bring Shopify's backend into our front end.
Nice. And then it's built out, it's running. What now as far as the company, how are you guys building your own sales pipeline?
Yeah. So when we first started, it was a lot of network that we had to build. And now we've gotten to the point where we've gotten a lot of referrals from our existing customers, which is always great for you to see. And now we're starting to dabble with taking all the insights, a lot of what I've been talking about here, and getting that out there and dabbling in paid ads. And interestingly enough, we're a B2B2C company, so we defaulted at first to LinkedIn ads, and it just was not finding the people at all. And maybe we were just being too specific with our audiences and all of that. But we said, you know what, like let's go check out Reddit, because we were doing a lot of research on Reddit, and it's where a lot of people go to vent about their problems, which is kind of
Yeah.
where you want to be sometimes when you're
Yeah.
advertising. You want to like lean into the pain points. And so we actually started advertising on some subreddits and started as little as like $5 a day, and you get some really good cost per click, even with creative that's like not even great, because you're already natively in the place where people are going to
Yeah.
try to see how others are doing or find solutions, basically. You certainly don't get as much granularity and understanding of who those people are like on LinkedIn, but in terms of bang for buck, Reddit's been really interesting, and it's gotten us a couple of leads from that standpoint. And so that's something that we're testing out. But like in for sales, we really fine tuned the process to lower our time to sale, because all that I've explained to you is kind of a new way to think about marketing, or maybe not as traditional of a path. And so for us, we've built out templates and playbooks that actually help usher people along the process, so they don't get stuck at like, well, this is all great, but like I have no idea where to start with this for my brand. And
Yeah.
so like we're going to start offering, instead of just like everyone gets a consult, like it's going to be, you can get a paid consult with us, or like here are these playbooks and you can check it out, right? Because as you scale, we just won't be able to do that one to one with
Right.
every single brand. And so that's how we're really shaping it up. So we're looking to build pipeline by taking these concepts through ads and then our continued networking and events. And then on the sales cycle, we're looking to get to conversion a lot faster, because we're one of those platforms where all these journeys are pretty public. I mean, they're opt in, so it gates certain things. but like you can get a lot of mimetic theory and modeling happening where
Hmm.
people can just go and check it out themselves and see and be like, I want that. And then they come
Yeah.
through. So we're trying to get that flywheel.
Well, one of the things I see successful with Shopify is the freemium model, where you come in and you get a basic level of information, and then by then you're integrated. Then you just do the upsell, like, "Hey guys, just turn it on for a month, money back guarantee." And next thing you know, years go by and they forget that it's running, and they're
Totally.
using the data and getting success. So, how did you guys? What was your process to get on as a Shopify partner?
Yeah. So first we had to figure out for our use case, like what data did we want to tap into? Because if you want customer data, which we ended up wanting access to, because that's how we're able to give the order information over, so they can prove out the ROI. Um, it was like a whole other process around like data storage, compliance, everything like that. So we had to get that checked out with Shopify, and then we actually had to build a app using their developer toolkit that would integrate with our business. So, long story short, basically, it lives in Shopify. You go and you download the app in Shopify, but then within our app in the UI, it says like now connected to your magnetic account, and then it pops up, and that's what allows kind of the data transfer. And then on our application, then you have your entire product kit that you can go and you can select and you can start like putting into different experiences that you want. And so some of the nuance inside baseball here is that there's a lot of like little things that I think are really good rule of thumbs that they make you do, like make sure you have instructions on like what people should expect when they come here and there, right? And so those were more the stumbling blocks that we ran into, but we're just closing those things out, and then we'll turn it on hopefully, I think in November. So
Awesome! Congratulations on that.
thank you.
That's a huge community to tap into.
Yes. Once that domino goes down, it's like great. We've gone through this process. Now it's like let's check out Woo. Let's like
Hmm.
if you can create diversity in all of that,
Yeah.
then you're not just kind of isolating like half the market. Well, I guess Shopify is probably more than half the market.
WordPress is actually 40% of market for
For e-commerce.
no, not for e-commerce, for
Yeah,
websites in general. But that's
yeah,
shifting very fast as these AI tools, these AI builders are coming out, right?
yeah. Our website is vibe coded, and we deploy on Versal. Like it's all removed from any builder.
Yeah, I've been building websites through vibe coding, built a couple for myself and for clients because it's so easy. It's just like
So easy.
it's so easy. I'm just like, man, this used to take me a couple weeks, and then for clients it would take months because they had the back and forth. The developer would get it. The 24-hour period. It's so much better. So, if someone's listening who's trying to scale right now, what's one piece of advice you wish you had earlier on?
Oh, that's really good. If you want to scale, like be absolutely sure who that dream customer is and just build everything for that dream customer. Um, had I known this, I mean, we took a lap around the world figuring out because we're really a horizontal product that we
Hmm.
could make an argument could be for anybody.
Yeah,
Um, but we really honed in on this ICP after a while. And once you have that clarity, it allows you to just dig your heels in and
yeah,
go. And then really what you do, and I always tell people this, it's like if you look at Amazon, they had to own books first, and then they had
yeah,
to own storefront, and then you earn the right to go and do AWS, and then you earn the right
yeah,
to create a movie studio, right? And then
yeah.
Jeff Bezos earns the right to go fly to space. So it's like
Buy
if you want
yachts
to
and
scale,
whatever else.
yeah, like find that niche or area and just own the crap out of it. And then once you've got that and it's running, then it allows you to take that model, tweak it a little bit for the next ICP and just go. But that's where the scale comes in because it gets easier and easier to do because you've
Yeah,
already kind of like
they have a proven
figured
method.
out what works essentially.
And
Yeah.
that's common amongst a lot of different things. And I'll see it. You see it with identify your target ICP, dominate them. Then you got your case studies. Then, if you need investors, you got a proof of concept. Same thing with I see with professional services who want to open up in multiple locations. They want to be all over,
Mhm.
and they're trying to target all. And it's like, well, if you dominate the area you're in, when you go to the
Yeah,
next area, you're going to have your proof of concept. You're going to know what works. Maybe you change the messaging a little bit because people will react different to certain things, but you'll have the model in place to build off
totally.
of. Awesome.
And,
So,
and yeah,
uh-huh.
I was
If you
going
had
to
a
say that
magic wand, what would be one thing that you'd wave right now to help the business?
if I had a magic wand, I would wave it and I would immediately get to have my top five products requests literally just implemented in the system,
Yeah.
because I pick it up from customer conversations all the time.
Uh,
And it's like, wow, like I could get rid of so many more objections if we had like these 5 things. But it's always
uh,
like it always is like you have to earn it, right? You
yeah.
have to earn it. But if there was a magic wand and you didn't have to worry about like trade-offs, I would
Boom,
totally
done.
do that. I would totally do that.
Awesome. And where can people connect with you or learn more about what you're doing?
Yeah, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Tyler Stambaugh, co-founder of Magnetic. You can check out our website, www.magnetic, with a Q at the end, .xyz. Um, and yeah, that's we're continuing to build. We're happy to have a conversation if anything we've talked about is interesting. And yeah, it's been great. Thanks, Jason.
Awesome. Thank you for taking the time.
Appreciate it.